Okay, let's unpack this. We're diving into one of the most fundamental and I think counterintuitive conflicts of the modern digital world.
It really is. The very law that was designed to foster public learning and creativity copyright is now, through automation, actively stifling it.
It's a story about how code has just quietly replaced law, how a 300-year-old constitutional bargain has been completely inverted by platform architecture.
And it's an issue that impacts, every creator, every educator, every critic online.
So our mission for this deep dive is pretty straightforward.
Yeah, we're going to analyze the foundational legal history of copyright, detail the systemic failure caused by the DMCA's safe harbor rules,
And then get into a potential solution.
a specific architectural solution offered by a decentralized protocol, Nostr, that promises to restore that original quid pro quo for creators and for the public.
And we're not just talking about abstract fairness here. We're talking about the constitutional mandate to promote progress. So to really understand how broken things are, we have to start at the beginning. Welcome to the deep dive. I'm Satosha.
And I'm Satoshi. The sources are so clear on this. Anglo-American copyright was emphatically not a natural right that a creator just has.
No, it was a tool, a radical, public-facing, utilitarian policy tool. It was a specific bargain.
It was. To really get how radical it was, you have to look back to England in 1710, the Statute of Anne.
Right. Before that, copyright was, what? Just a publisher's monopoly.
A perpetual monopoly held by the Stationers' Company. And it wasn't about authors at all, It was a tool of censorship for controlling the flow of information.
And so when that old act expired, Parliament just broke the monopoly.
They broke it. They created the Statute of Anne, and its full title gives the whole game away. An act for the encouragement of learning. It was an anti-monopolistic revolution.
So this is where the bargain comes in, the famous quid pro quo.
That's it. The statute set it up perfectly. The thing you give the creator was an exclusive right, but for a limited term, just 14 years.
And crucially, it was for the author, not the publisher.
Vested in the author. And in return, the quo. Well, that's the public benefit that justifies the whole system.
The public gets the work eventually.
The work must fall into the public domain. The law was basically saying, we will give you this temporary market exclusivity so you produce knowledge, but eventually that knowledge belongs to everyone.
So the next generation can build on it.
The goal was always knowledge progress.
And that philosophy, that's what was imported directly into the U.S. Constitution. Article 1, Section 8, Clause 8.
Yes, and Congress is only granted the power to promote the progress of science and useful arts. It's an explicit limitation on that power.
The language is so rigorous.
Extremely. The sources emphasize that science, back then, at the time of the framing, meant systematic knowledge or learning of enduring value.
So not just any old creative expression. They were talking about maps, charts, systematic knowledge.
The law's entire mandate is the advancement of knowledge.
Okay, but if the goal is progress, you need some kind of safety valve, something to stop that monopoly from just suffocating new knowledge.
And that's where the balancing doctrines come in. For us, it's U.S. fair use.
The engine of progress.
It truly is. It's this open, flexible doctrine. It's based on a 4-factor test that judges apply subjectively, case by case.
Right. They ask things like, is it for criticism? Is it for teaching? How much did you use?
So that's the effect on the market. And the key factor, especially today, is transformative use. Did you add something new? Does it have a different character?
So that's what protects a critic quoting a book or an educator showing a film clip.
That's the legal ground. And that right there, that is the setup for the entire crisis.
Why?
Because determining if a use is transformative requires subjective, contextual, human judicial analysis. You need a person, a judge, to look at it. You just cannot automate good faith review.
And here is where the human element gets engineered right out of the system. Let's jump forward to the late 90s when the law created this perfect storm, a huge economic incentive for platforms to avoid human judgment.
We're talking about the Digital Millennium Copyright Act, the DMCA, specifically Section 512, which created the safe harbor provision.
And this shields the big platforms, right? The online service providers from these massive lawsuits.
It shields them from multi-billion-dollar monetary liability for stuff their users upload. Without it, the modern internet probably couldn't exist.
But there's a condition. There's always a condition.
The platform must act expeditiously to remove content when it gets a takedown notice. But the real poison pill is what the law calls actual knowledge or red flag awareness.
Okay, what does that mean?
If the platform has concrete knowledge that infringing stuff is on their site and they don't take it down, they lose their safe harbor. They lose the shield.
Oh, I see the paradox now. I see it. If I'm a platform and I get a takedown notice and I tell my employee, hey, go review this to see if it's fair use.
You are gathering actual knowledge the second your employee says, yes, that's a copyrighted song, but it's clearly transformative criticism.
I've gained the knowledge that exposes me to full liability if I get it wrong.
Precisely. Any pause for subjective human review is financially and legally suicidal for a huge platform. The only rational economic choice is to shoot first and ask questions later.
So the law itself actually pushes them towards automation.
It directly incentivizes these automated robo-takedown systems that have zero capacity for nuance.
Which brings us to Content ID, which, as the sources point out, is technically an extra-judicial system. It goes way beyond what the DMCA even requires.
The DMCA only mandated reactive takedowns. Content ID is a private, proactive invention. It uses digital fingerprinting.
And here's the inversion you mentioned.
Right. It offers 3 options: block, track, or monetize. And that monetize option is the most powerful. It creates a private extrajudicial tax.
It's a revenue-sharing system between the platform and the big right shoulders.
Exactly. Public law gets completely supplanted by private code and negotiated economics.
And this system creates what creators call the culture of fear.
It completely flips the burden of proof. A match from the bot is an automatic presumption of guilt. Your video gets penalized, usually demonetized instantly.
And then the creator has to navigate this labyrinth of a dispute process.
It's a total catch-22. Say you're a music educator like Adam Neely or Tomo Fujita. Your use is clearly protected under the teaching prong of fair use. You dispute the claim.
Okay.
But if the right shoulder rejects that dispute and you decide to appeal that, you are basically inviting them to issue a formal, legal DMCA takedown.
And that gives you a copyright strike. 3 strikes, and your channel, your entire livelihood, is just deleted.
So the platform forces a choice on you. You either accept their private tax, the demonetization, or you risk the deletion of your entire career.
The system can't tell the difference between a professor giving a lecture and a pirate uploading a movie.
To the bot, it's all the same. And the ultimate sign of this failure isn't even the takedowns. It's the chilling effect. It's the algorithmic evasion.
Right. This is where creators know their use is legal, but they also know they can't win an argument with a bot.
So they do these bizarre technical workarounds. They pitch shift the audio or bury a clip under white noise.
They're changing their argument. Instead of a legal one, my use is fair use, it becomes a technical one. Your bot can't hear this.
They're literally making their art worse just to survive the algorithm. It is a catastrophic failure of that constitutional mandate to promote progress.
So the failure is architectural. It's born from the liability of these massive centralized platforms, which means if the problem is architectural,
the solution has to be architectural too. And this brings us to the Nostr protocol. It's a way to, well, to technically restore that original public bargain.
how does it start?
It starts by eliminating the platform dependence that creates the culture of fear. On Nostr, your identity isn't an account that can be taken from you.
It's a cryptographic key pair.
An NPub and an NSEC that you own forever. You cannot be deleted.
And the content moves through these dumb relays, servers that just pass messages.
Right, so if one relay censors you, you just publish to the others. It completely breaks the centralized platform's coercive power over your livelihood.
Okay, so that's the foundation. But how do you replace something like Content ID?
You need 2 core technical fixes that align with the law. First, you need verifiable content. Content ID is a black box. Nostr, through NIP 94, defines a public, transparent content manifest.
The kind 163 event.
Yes, and that manifest includes the SHA-256 hash of the file. That hash creates an immutable cryptographic link between the content and its metadata.
So it restores the burden of proof. The work is provably the work out in the open.
Exactly. Second, we need a way to transfer value programmatically to replace that punitive monetization tax. And that's NIP 57 lightning zaps.
Instant, non-custodial, peer-to-peer micropayments over the Bitcoin Lightning Network.
And here's the genius of the architecture. The crucial detail about zaps is the kind 9735 zap receipt. Once a payment is made, a public receipt gets published to all the relays.
So it's a permanent, public, verifiable proof of payment.
That's your verifiable quid. It's right there on the network for anyone to see.
So you have verifiable content and verifiable payment. How do you put them together?
We put them together with a proposed policy tag model. Since the whole legal problem is the ambiguity of fair use, we let the creator eliminate that ambiguity themselves. They define machine-readable policies for their content.
So a musician can publish their song with a tag that says, for example,
Something like policy, criticism, 500 per minute. It's an unambiguous, creator-defined license for a very specific use case.
okay, so I'm a critic. I want to use 2 minutes of that song in my review. My Nostr native client reads that policy.
And it automatically executes a NIP 57 ZAP for the required 1,000 sats. It makes the payment, and in return, it gets that kind 9735 proof of payment.
And then I publish my new transformative video,
Yeah.
and that immutable proof of license, that public ZAP receipt, is just embedded in its metadata.
And just like that, the code is finally realigned with the law's original intent. The creator gets compensated, the public gets the criticism, and both events are cryptographically recorded for everyone to see.
The original bargain is restored.
The creator gets their an instant, non-custodial micropayment. And the public gets the, quote, the transformative learning and criticism published with cryptographic proof that the license was honored.
You've replaced automated punitive censorship.
With automated, creator-defined licensing.
It's a really beautiful full-circle argument. The current system forced creators to dedicate their energy to making their art worse, just to evade robots.
This new architectural model suggests a profound shift. The system no longer defaults to punishment and censorship. It defaults to rewarding explicit licensing and promoting the progress of science through transparent, voluntary economic transactions.
So the provocative thought we want to leave you with is this. If we spent the last decade building systems designed to punish sharing, what kind of creativity and learning will emerge when the architecture instead incentivizes and rewards the sharing of knowledge by default?